Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for The Chi. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and make sure that you have it set for all, because outside of the random stuff that happens with YouTube, if you don't have that set, at times you will not be able to know and be notified that I actually put something up. And I've been told by people that that has happened to them. And also, before you leave out, please make sure to thumbs up my video. Thank you so much. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Y'all, Kevin and Keisha's mama is on everybody, including her wife, about being home at 7 o'clock because she is going to be making a pasta dish. She's going to be making lasagna. At some point in time, Kevin says that he doesn't even like lasagna, and I'm like, what is we talking about? Because I have never in my life met anybody who does not like lasagna. I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people, but I'm just like, I mean, if they literally eat the ingredients, the main ingredients that are in a traditional lasagna, I'm confused. Now, there have been people who say that they won't eat it because of the ricotta cheese and they have to have it substituted out for a different type of cheese. I get that. And it's a texture thing for most people who I've heard say that they won't eat it unless they pick through that. But outside of that, I'm like, what is y'all talking about? Because I know people who do not like beef stroganoff, but they've had my mother's, and hers is 100% completely different than what you've seen and tasted as a beef stroganoff. When I tell y'all, when I went home in 2015, my mama made that, and she hadn't made it in years, and that is like my daddy's favorite in life dish that my mama makes. Of course, he liked the catfish and all the, he likes the breakfasts, the lunches, and the dinners, but that is like his favorite thing that my mama makes. She made that. I had some to bring back home with me when I came back to Virginia. All of that. When I tell y'all, it is so good. It looks nothing like beef stroganoff, but it is beef stroganoff. It's just a 100% completely different way to make it. Y'all, all I'm trying to say is all of the junk that I've seen Kevin eat, I'm not understanding why he's talking about he don't like lasagna anyway. And I'm like, what you mean? I see you eat pizza, you eat all this stuff. You eat all this junk food, and you eat all this other stuff that would constitute as somewhat of junk food or whatever. Pretty sure you eat spaghetti, you eat all this other stuff, but you talking about you don't eat lasagna. I'm sorry, y'all. When I saw that part, I was like, are you just saying that because you don't want to be in the house right now? Like, what is going on? I don't want to hear that. But anyway. But yeah, so I think her name is Nina. Nina in her feelings because now Dre leaving the house. So she like, what you leaving so early for? And so she, we find out that she's lying as to why she's leaving. And talking about, oh, well, they've changed up when we have our meetings. Because, she's like a school counselor or something like that. And she's probably liable to believe anything because I think everything is kind of in the same vein of COVID a little bit, and a lot of stuff been going on, and like Black Lives Matter, a lot of stuff. So she is very easily inclined to believe that she's telling the truth because they might need to discuss some. I would think that she was telling the truth because I'm like, all this stuff going on with Black Lives Matter and all this controversy that just happened with Jacob and all that, I would be like, okay, yeah, they might need to talk about some other stuff to take extra precautions and to show empathy to certain students because of certain things that are going on, sensitivity situations, whatever. They might have training that they got to do. So I would be inclined to believe that she's telling the truth, but everybody leaving, and the only person that's going to be at the house is Keisha, and Keisha ain't here for nothing. And her mama had to set it off and was like, just because you want to eat like trash, that don't mean you need to feed the baby trash. So she ended up giving her like an apple and a banana because she keeps picking up junk to eat. So yeah, y'all, everybody's supposed to be at the house at 7 to partake. Also, as far as Kevin is concerned, Kevin and Jacob both have in-school suspension. So everybody is confused as to why, if they suspended, how they still get to go to the school. And I was confused because I was like, okay, y'all trying to make it seem like this is just something that happens when you are talking about private schools or whatever and white schools. And I'm like, when I was at school, and I went to several different schools because of zoning and all that other stuff, and it ended up switching up. I went to several different schools, and at every school that we had detention and all that stuff at, they had ISS, which is in school suspension. And they got up and got on a bus and went to school, or they were taken to school, however they got to school, whether they walked, rode a bicycle, drove in a vehicle when they got older, or their parent or whoever dropped them off. They went to school, sat in a class all day, in most cases, did schoolwork, if they actually were doing what they were supposed to do, and that's just what it was. Like, I was just like, why y'all trying to make it seem like, oh, well, this must be something dealing with this white school or a private school. I went to public school, with the exception of 1 year. So I'm like, what is y'all talking about? Because I went to a magnet school 1 year. I'm like, what is y'all talking about? That ain't making sense. So anyway, so at the house where Jacob lived at, you know, with his brother and Imani, he trying to figure out how he get suspended. And then his brother Trey looking at him like, all right, you trying to play in my face. How you gonna tell me you suspended 1 second and then the next second you telling me that you still got to go to school? That don't make no sense. And he looking like, I don't know. So old boy is still there. Y'all know Jason Weaver's character. I don't even remember what they said his name is. But anyway, the dude who got out of jail, he got to stay with them for a little while. So he there, and he has told this man about his sexploitation situations, his sexcapades, if you will, with the white girl. And so he was like, listen, this is what you do. You have sex with the white girls and you marry the black girls. I was just like, why is we doing any of this? Y'all, he told Jacob to go get ready so he could take him to school. And so he was like, not like, he was dragging his feet or something through the house. And he was like, stop, you better walk like you're supposed to walk in my house. And he was like, this ain't your house, this Reggie's house. Lord, why he said that, Trigg rolled all the way up. It was like, what you say? I thought Jacob was going to be bold enough to say something back to him, but he didn't. So I was like, okay, good. Because I ain't want you to get snatched up. Okay, y'all. So Doodah is meeting up with old girl. And he has basically said to her, what do you think about $5 million? Like, what can you do with that? So she looking like, what are you talking about? Like, he like, look, I've defunded the police, and that's around the amount that they use every year. And, you know, what can you do with $5 million? So Trey come in there, he busts in, like you could hear a ruckus. You could hear the ruckus outside of the door. And he looking at him like, you don't know how to knock? And they really going back and forth like the woman ain't even sitting there. You know how Doodah normally like to try to put on a front. And I guess because she has basically been like, be real with me, ain't nobody got time. He was very Doodah in that moment. I was like, oh, this isn't Mayor Perry that we're seeing right now. This is full out Doodah. Oh, okay. So anyway, they going back and forth. He was like, look, man, ain't nobody trying to hit that. Have you watched the news? You ain't even watching the news. So he turned on the news, and a police officer or whatever he is, in whatever capacity that he is, somebody that is a part of the Blue Lives Matter crew, if you will, is being interviewed, and they talking about, well, since they talking about they don't need us, let's see if that's true or not. And so since old girl saw that, she was like, well, I feel like he will be able to help me to spend the money, and that we can do these things by ourselves. And like Doodah was like, yeah, ain't nobody got time. And so, you know, he was like, oh, well, I don't think he could help you spend the money. Because she was like, oh, he should be able to help me. So Trigg basically got thrown into a situation. And I was just like, that is so random, y'all. So anyway, Dre, when she left out, it was because she is having to be secretive about Jada's situation, which is that she has cancer. And they talking about they want to treat her with chemo. And she ain't really, you know, and they talking about they want to start now because it is very aggressive and it is further along than what they thought it was going to be. Like, it is setting it off. And they talking about we want to start ASAP. So the doctor leaves them by themselves, and she was just like, I just wish I could say something. And so she was like, well, you know how my wife is. She got like a third eye for this. So eventually she going to figure it out or find out some kind of way. But she was like, thank you for keeping my secret. And even though she wanted to tell people, she was like, you know, you can't tell nobody, because if you tell her, then she gonna tell the kids because she be at the house all day. And then when she tell the kids, one of the kids is Keisha, and Keisha talks to her son because they friends, and ultimately her son finds out, which is what she does not want to happen in this moment. She's trying to keep it on the hush for right now. And so she was just like, I really do appreciate you keeping it on the hush. I know how hard it is for you, because she's sneaking around on the phone talking to her. At first I was like, I know this heifer ain't cheating. And I had to think about it. I was like, nah, because you know they best friends or whatever. They like really good friends. She knew her before she met her wife. Like, they real cool. So I was like, okay, cool. Y'all, so anyway, Emmett then got into it with his wife because she finally came home and he told us, where the F you been at? And so she was like, yeah, I'm gonna need for you to take that bass up out your voice. I don't know who you thought you was talking to. And then she basically was truthful with him and was like, I was with one of my clients. And he was like, was it a dude? And so she was like, yeah. And asked who it was. She told him who it was and that they had sex. Well, child, I'm sorry. If I was him, I might have to go ahead and kill myself one good time, because she pretty much did it when she said all the things she's been saying this entire episode, which was that his head game is better than his, and like just the sex with him is better and all this other stuff. Like, I'm talking about, it's so bad. Like, she has been reading him so bad to the point of where other people could tell she had a glow about herself, and it was because she had sex with somebody else. And when she told them that she had sex with somebody else, they were looking like, what? So y'all cheating? Y'all just got married? And so, like, y'all, it's just a mess. Like, girl, how you with him? You sat up here, set it off, and got married to him. You don't have a glow about yourself, but y'all having sex like rabbits. Like, that's crazy. And I guess I just don't think they should have gotten married anyway. So it is what it is. Anyway. But yeah, she came in and he and his feelings, and she really read him and walked off and went in the bedroom. And so he gonna knock on the door later on and try to talk to her. And she was like, leave me alone. And he wanna know whether or not old boy pulled out, because I'm guessing that she's one of those people that he knows is not going to wear any protection. And so she came out, and yet again, at this point, he should just kill himself. I'm just saying, because she was killing him with her words. She said, I don't know if he pulled out because we both came so many times. I was like, man, y'all, I was dying. Like, she really was reading. So anyway, y'all, Douda is going and he going where he going to go talk to he's going up these steps talking to his wife, and the dude that's always with them, he's just like, this isn't a good look, whatever. And I'm just like, Lord, y'all doing too much. And like, he ain't here for it. He like, look, whatever you say, it is what it is. Like, I ain't really trying to hear what you say. Y'all, Imani is doing her job. Y'all know she's like a hairstylist. She does barbering, all that stuff. She's a jack of all trades when it comes to that. It's kind of rare at times for you to find somebody who is great with, you know, actually being able to give haircuts, and actually do your hair. She can do all that. So she's in the house, in the basement or wherever, doing what she normally do. And then this dude come in with this girl and was like, do her hair. Like, the whole room got quiet, like, before he even said anything. As soon as the door opened and we saw her, and I was just like, what is this situation about? Later on, we find out that old girl is a streetwalker, hooker, whore, whatever you want to call it. She is, he's basically her pimp. And I guess because he feel like he is everything, that what you gonna do is do this heifer's hair. But at first, I didn't know what the situation was, because I was like, okay, is this just a battered woman that's with this man, or like, what is it? And is old boy like friends with Trig, and he just thinks that he's automatically entitled to get free services because getting your hair done ain't just, oh, okay. I'm talking about down to even getting your hair washed, conditioned, dried, all of that. That is not, no, oh, let me just take 5 minutes out of my day. Like, no. This heifer had a whole head of hair too. So anyway, you could tell the girl ain't comfortable. Like, Imani took her and was like, it's okay, I'm gonna take care of you. Later on, she was talking to him because old boy, who is the dude that's staying with them right now, he went and ran errands for her. He has to be gainfully employed, have something to do or whatever, in order to report back to his PO with. And so this is what he does. He ran an errand and got some supplies for her. And then he saw the pimp that was in there. He was like, oh man, I didn't know you got out. He was like, yeah, man, just got out, whatever. And so he basically done with his day from doing nothing. And they gonna go out and drink and whatever. And so he was like, all right, man, yeah, I'm gonna slide with you. So he ended up leaving her there by herself. And so Imani asked her, was she okay? And she shook her head, no. And she was crying. Imani wants to help her get out of the situation. The girl has asked her to get her out of the situation, to help her to get out. A lot of people feel like it ain't their place. Who are you? I ain't nobody. So she grown. She should be able to do what she want to do. That's what her friend said later on in the episode. And I'm just like, it is not that simple. There are people who have been in a situation and they know the situation isn't good for them, but they might not have a place to stay. They might not have money. Like, it's just so many different factors that a lot of people don't factor in. And I'm just like, you can't just say, oh, well, you should be able to do this. That ain't how this go. So anyway, moving right along. So while old boy was out with the pimp, he was talking to him. And to make a long story short, he was like, you know that woman that Trig is with is basically said, you know that that's a dude. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all know Imani is a trans woman. And he looking like, what? So I'm like, oh Lord. I'm thinking this whole episode like, man, Trig gonna come home. This fool gonna be that killed her or tried to rape her or whatever. Because I thought that when he saw her, he knew her teeth. So I was shocked to find out that this was his first time realizing what the situation was. Because she is very passable, in my opinion. I don't care nobody else say. I feel like Imani is very, very passable. So anyway, with this initiative that old girl is trying to have going on along with Trig, that the mayor is going to basically fund, they have rolled up on some people that are mainly affiliated with the church. And they want to have it where everybody in the Black community, preferably, if you have an issue, whatever it is, and you know you normally would call the police, call them instead. So they already been getting the word out. They have to get the word out a little bit more. But there are some people who have reservations and they are used to things being a certain way, and it's going to be hard to kind of convert them. So you got to work on them because they really want to show them that you don't need the police, because in a lot of the cases, the police are the ones coming into the community, setting it off and doing the most and starting stuff. And we already know that there's Black on Black crime. We already know that. I get tired of people wanting to always spew that. And I'm just like, stop. So anyway, after they finish saying what they're saying, and the people who were in the room are basically like, oh, okay, cool, we good. He ends up, passing out an application or whatever. And he was like, I know that a lot of people have specific skill sets. I want y'all to write down what you're good at because we'll be able to use them for whatever reason. So yeah, y'all, because basically Trig is gonna be the muscle. Trig and his goons gonna be the muscle. So anyway, after they done, they get a phone call and there is a situation that has already popped off. And so he was like, okay, so what we gonna do? We just gonna show up? And so she was like, yeah. So her and Trig went over to the house. It went over to this apartment or whatever. And there was a man and a woman arguing outside the door of their apartment. And you hear the girl talking about, you don't need to worry about what I got going on. I got an OnlyFans. That's the only reason why we able to pay these bills up here. Said it all. So then Trig and them was like, hey, y'all need to calm that down. You need to stop trying to separate it. The man haul off and punch Trig right in the eye, in the face. I think he punched him in the eye, but he punched him something terrible. So anyway, they separate them. They put the woman back in the apartment. And so old girl is talking to the woman, and Trig and one of his goons is talking to him, because I done forgot what that man's name is, but it's this fine man that Reggie had, if I'm not mistaken, as like one of his goons, one of his like security dudes or whatever you want to say. Like, he's very loyal. That man is fine as I don't know what. I done forgot what his name is. I used to know what it was, but yeah. I had to take me a good old sip on it. That man is fine. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that man is fine for real, y'all. But anyway, like he had to pull a gun out on this fool because he had already punched Trig by this point, and he was still like on some rah-rah stuff. So they end up taking him, basically having him to go down like to the bottom of the staircase while old girl was in the apartment. To make a long story short, they ended up separating them, and he had to go at least spend the night somewhere else. He was very reluctant. The dude was not for to do it. He was like, I ain't going nowhere. I stay here. And old girl was like, I do want counseling, but even if we did have the money for it, he would not go, all this other stuff. And there is a minor in the house that he has had custody of for I don't know how long. And I'm saying to myself, okay, like what happened in life that he had custody of her? And I know that there are times that people change and they might have been one way and then something changed them for the worse. I don't know. But in a lot of cases, there are some people who were trash from the beginning. And they was just like, just put their name on paper. Just do that. That's all you got to do. They'll take care of themselves. They old enough to take care of themselves. And the child might have been like 6, 7 years old when they got with them. And they really have been self-sufficient. And that's sad. So anyway, y'all. She wants them to be able to have counseling as a family. She wants them to be a family. And so, old girl was like, we'll try to help you with that. And she was like, y'all really gonna have to do what y'all need to do because you have a child here. And I was just like, Lord, the girl was going around the house. The young girl was going around the house, picking up glass that was all over the place. Like this person, they tore up the whole house. Like old boy tore up the whole house trying to get to her because he seems like he's jealous. He ain't got no job. He ain't got no job right now. I don't know if he lost it because of whatever. I don't know. But he ain't got no job right now. He in his feelings, so that's why he tearing stuff up and he taking it out on her. And I'm like, this heifer done she's resorted to doing OnlyFans to pay bills for y'all. So I hate that she got to do that, but she done did what she did. And I mean, Trig was downstairs telling him like, I need to be with my woman, but I'm doing my job, which is actually a part of me doing this with you right now. And that's sad. Like, you need to do what you need to do. So eventually, like I said, Trig got through the old boy, and I was like, okay, I really didn't think he was going to get through to him. I thought he was just going to have to get shot one good time by old boy because he seemed like he wasn't going to let up. So anyway, Trig finally get home. And the way that they had him come in, I'm like, are y'all, like, I really feel like they know that our thought processes go to a certain, side anyway. Because my mind, I was like, ooh, if Jason Weaver, his character to set up here and then raped her or tried to kill her or whatever, because y'all already know the trans situations that be going on. They be out here killing trans people like it is nothing. So I was like, if he walk up in this house and Imani dead, I'm gonna be tired in my spirit. But anyway, she was in there, and they were talking to one another, and she basically approached him and was like, you know what, I want you to help me. And, with the situation that happened earlier, and he was kind of looking at her like, girl, bye. And she was just like, oh, so because she's a sex worker, you don't want to help her? But I think he gonna do it because he basically lives for her, and she is literally a ride or die. So it's like, sir, you need to do something. So anyway, the boys are in school suspension. And before they get to in school suspension, Gemma rolled up on Kevin and was like, hey, can you, come with me while I do my live broadcast? It's just 10 minutes. I'm tired of talking to the white kids. They don't understand us or whatever, because she wanted to kind of do something on the racial aspect of everything that's going on. Of course, he said, nah, I'm good where I'm at. And, this was after. I'm sorry. This was after they did their in-school suspension. So while they were in school suspension, they were basically sitting there doing nothing, which is not what's supposed to happen. So they had a random white teacher, and the teacher was like, I understand what's going on. And they looking at him like, how you understand anything that's going on because you white? He was like, I know y'all might think because I'm white I don't understand, but I really do sympathize or whatever, and I am an ally. But he was like, well, I don't want to have y'all, just in here. I'm going to release y'all. So they was about to get up, and he was like, no, but, I need y'all to do something for me first, because I don't want my boss to roll up and be like, what is y'all doing? I don't see no work that didn't happen up in here today. So what did they even do today? So yeah, he ended up having them write a 1-page essay on what happened to them, when they got, approached and handled, let me just put it like that, by the police. And Jacob wasn't here for it. I think he eventually did it, or old boy was just like, it is what it is. But he was like, just think of it as a way to have proof that this happened. And it's not a piece of history that can be just taken away, hidden, or just destroyed. So Kevin went on ahead and did it expeditiously. But yeah, y'all. But yeah, so anyway, after that happened, Gemma rolled up because she found out, you know, what they did. And so she's like, oh my gosh. Like, she read it. She read whatever Kevin wrote. She was so, like, into it. And she wanted him to come on her show. And he was just like, nah, I'm good where I'm at. He went on by his business. Then she saw Jacob and was like, oh my gosh, can you be on my show and go over what you wrote? He was like, I ain't do that. So Jacob didn't do it. He didn't do the assignment. And so, well, can you at least come on my show, please? I want to be able to talk to people because I'm tired of talking to these people. And so he was like, I don't trust them white people. I don't trust nobody. So she was like, she was able to finally get him to go on the show. So like I told y'all before, it's not even that long. It's like a 5 to 10 minute segment that she does. I don't know if y'all ever had to do it, but I know like in my junior high school classes and in high school, they had people come on for like 5 to 10 minutes on the little Channel 3 or whatever channel it was, and they would do like school announcements and all that stuff. Yeah. I was about to say one of the dude's names because he had been doing it ever since we was at Bellingraph Junior High when I was in Montgomery, Alabama in the 7th grade on up until he graduated. Like, he always did it no matter what school he was at. I don't know how, but he was always able to be one of the people that was doing it. So anyway, since Jacob said, yeah, he got on the show and he kind of froze up in a moment because he kind of felt triggered. And, you know, she, of course, thanked him. Like, she seemed like a really decent host. She thanked him for coming on the show and all this other stuff. And then, like, she put her hand on his hand. Tell me why Kevin in one of his classrooms watching it, he looking kind of bothered. And I'm like, well, I don't know if it's because he feels like it's a missed opportunity or if he feels some type of way. Because we already know that Jacob always feels some type of way when he sees the two of them together because they are a couple, but he trying to make it seem like, oh, y'all just disgusting. I ain't trying to have no woman or whatever. And I'm like, bruh, ain't nobody trying to hear this lie. So anyway, after everything that has happened between Emmett and his wife, Tiffany, they still have the tasting. They are having an event where they're going to have all of the free food that is going to be infused with weed. And so this is still a business venture that her and Lala's character have to go. You know, what they call it? I forgot what the hell his name is all of a sudden. Domo. Domo? Is that what they call her on here? So anyway, before they even linked up, he was at work early prepping. And so she was like, what you doing here so early? And acting like you know what you're doing prepping the food. And this is when she finds out that he told his wife what it was. So later on that day, they ended up having to see each other at the event. She had already set up the event. And so his wife came in with whatever she had to bring. And Emmett's daddy was high as a kite. Like, I was just like, bruh, you need to go somewhere and sit down. Like, she tried to tell him, like, you can't do all that, y'all. But anyway, Domo was in her feelings because she was like, why you tell her? Like, I really thought she was cool and all that. Like, it's very hard to find friends, especially female friends. And I don't really have friends like that. And I thought we would be able to build something. But now you'd probably mess that up. And so he was like, shoot, she ain't even mentioned you. Y'all probably gonna be good. So whatever. So anyway, they kind of had words, but not really. And so she was like, you good? She was like, I mean, should I be good? And so she was like, I mean, it is what it is. We working together. I don't really care like that. So anyway, I just can't. So Jada was there. Y'all know this Emmett's mama. She was there with her little friend. Earlier in the episode, Emmett came over to the house while she was having a moment. I think he was over there because she was pouring 2 shots. Unless she was just trying to recalibrate because of all of the information that she had to digest because of what all she's going to have to go through. But she was basically naked. He got a key and he came in and all this. And so, yeah, old boy was there because he came out naked with a towel. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. But anyway, he got in his feelings and he was like, you know, he ain't but 2 years older than me, Mom. Like, he was like, I'ma see you when you in these streets. I'm like, Emmett, please shut up. Like, you can't even keep your wife. You go somewhere and sit down. So anyway, he doing the most. And it got to a point where you could tell that she might be about to tell him that she has cancer, but he done stormed out of the house. And so then, you know, Jada is at the event. She done got high. And then they eventually leave. Like, I don't think he really had, I think he said, old boy said edibles mess with his stomach. And so I don't think he even had anything like that. And so they were leaving. And so he was like, Mom, I could take you home. And she was like, no, it's all right. He got me. And so they stumbled on down the street. And I was like, okay. So Emmett's daddy, Darnell, is high out of his mind. And he gonna say, I have an announcement to make. I'm as high as I've ever been in my life. I'm never getting high again. And everybody started laughing. I was like, boy, if you don't go somewhere and shut up, because don't nobody want to hear what you whine about. So anyway, the night of the dinner happens. And, you know, she just so happy that everybody actually showed up. And I'm like, do what you do, honey. Do what you do. Tell me why, after Tiffany talked to her friends, it was these two gay guys that were in a relationship. They're apparently in an open relationship. And now she feels as though they need to just be in an open marriage. And he basically had to agree to it because he was like, I really don't want to deal with other people, but okay. And we can tell by the preview next week, it's not going to go that great. And I just think they need to go ahead and get divorced. I'm tired. It's stupid. So anyway, the end of the episode is here. Duda was going to go and mind his business. And this heifer was like, oh, well, can I join you? And went to the house, took her to the house. Well, they start to like kind of get into it. And Candy's character, his wife, walks into the house and it was like, oh, I mean, politely put her stuff down and everything. Like, that's how deep into it that they were. They didn't realize this heifer had walked in the house, put her stuff down, and was walking towards them. And she was like, yeah, my invitation seems to have gotten lost in the mail, because she already told the heifer, I don't care if you have sex with my husband. Like, I might want to be there too. It is what it is. So anyway, they getting it in. And, you know, oh boy, he kind of was like about to just be all the way done, because she was like, you know, don't stop on my account. Y'all can keep going. So Duda act like he was about to walk off, like, nah. And so old girl was just like, you know what? And I'm just like, heifer, all the men in the world, why? I don't understand why people gravitate to married/taken men. Like, what is the excitement? I don't be understanding. Now with him, he has all this money and power. I get it, but there are people who are single. Like, it's stupid. I don't understand. But anyway, that was the end of the episode. I just want to say that there was a song that was being played towards the end of this episode, and it was Everything I Got My Entire Life. And it was something about life in the Chi. This is life in the Chi. I thought that song was everything. And then, like, it was a woman and a man singing on the track, first of all. Then the dude, when he was going in, he had a little part where he was saying, ain't no love in the heart of the city, ain't no love. You know, whatever. I was like, don't tell me that you know, basically doing somewhat of a shout out to like one of the greatest singers that ever was, one of the blues singers, one of the best blues singers that ever was, who was Bobby Blue Bland, because I live for that song. Y'all ever heard that song? Ain't no love in the heart of the city. Ain't no love in the heart of town. Ain't no love, and it sure is a pity. Ain't no love, 'cause you ain't around. Lord, y'all, every place that I go, oh, it seems so strange. Without you there, things have changed. But now that you're gone, you know the sun don't shine from the city hall to the county. Like, y'all don't understand. I live for Bobby Blue Bland. I am so mad that I never saw him live in concert. Y'all don't understand. I go on and on about Bobby Blue Bland. Oh, but anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. That was the end of the episode. Next week gonna be a mess. This whole season so far has been amazing to me. Hopefully y'all loved this video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show as well, just like I did. Please thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel if you've not done so, and make sure that you hit those post notifications. I'll see y'all later. Bye.